We have some interesting news to talk about on today's episode of the Rams Digest. We're going to, yes, talk about Matthew Stafford and his current situation, but some interesting teams that may be interested in Matthew Stafford's services this offseason. Let's just say a potential rival of the Rams may be interested. We'll talk about that. We're also going to discuss Cooper Kupp and the compensation and a little update on what we can really truly expect in terms of trade compensation for Cooper Kupp. And we're also going to do trivia of the day, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Hedon. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button now, as 72.2% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. Do me a favor, just press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, let's get into the first bit of news here right off the rip. Who is it that wants Matthew Stafford? Is this something that the Rams could do, would do? Are you interested in doing this? Now, look, I get it. I've asked a lot of people's opinions in the comments down below. You guys have been letting me know how you feel about trading Matthew Stafford, and some people have actually said, you know what? Let's go ahead and trade Matthew Stafford, get a first-round pick, and then sign Aaron Rodgers or something like that, right? That still gives you a chance to win next year, and you get a pick in return. Very interesting the way that's been kind of turning, I think. I think once you officially heard word that the Rams have allowed Matthew Stafford and his agent to discuss with other teams, possibly trading Stafford or looking for possible trade options or other teams and organizations for Stafford to seek, generally speaking, seek his value, seek some compensation from. And so I think that's kind of changed the way some fans are seeing this, maybe seeing it as a possible reality that Stafford's on his way out the door, right? But I don't think we would want to see him go here, right? Will the 49ers trade Brock Purdy to the Rams for Matthew Stafford? Grant Cohn here saying, bear with me on this one. Well, it's gonna take a lot of convincing for Rams fans. I know he's trying to do the convincing for the 49ers fans on their side, but very, very interesting conversation to have here. And first things first, I want to say, straight up trading Brock Purdy for Matthew Stafford, not necessarily the worst thing of situations for the Rams. I'll be honest, maybe it's the 49er hate. I've never been the biggest fan of Brock Purdy. I want to say incredible what he's done so far in his career as the Mr. Irrelevant last pick in the draft. So impressive, so incredibly impressive what he's done in his career. Happy for him. Great for the kid. Great overall what he's done in his career so far. But I don't know. There are times when I feel like he has some great throws. There are times where I feel like I don't know if he's the most talented guy out there, which I don't think that's a controversial statement there. And so I wouldn't be super ecstatic about Brock Purdy, the idea of Brock Purdy getting paid a bunch of money to be the Rams quarterback for a few years. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about this. If it was like a straight up or maybe like a Brock Purdy and a fourth round pick, although I don't know. I don't know who would be, having the leverage in this situation. It's all a very interesting situation. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about it, generally speaking. Let's hear the man out. Let's see what he has to say. So the Rams most likely would want a young quarterback to pair with their young revamped roster. True. Agree with this statement, right? They reportedly would have drafted Bo Nix last year if he had fallen to them in round one. That was a true rumor that was potentially out there, and I think it's kind of an interesting conversation to have as well. If the Rams would have not gotten Jared Verse, but they got a guy like Bo Nix, who could potentially be the future quarterback of the Broncos, right, for a very long time, potential franchise quarterback seems like they found in Denver. Maybe not even potential, maybe, just they found their guy, right? So maybe they would like Purdy, who is similar to Nix. I don't know if they're similar. I guess they are similar. It's not horrible to say similar, but I will say one's a first-round talent, one was a seventh-round talent, and so that talent is important to note, right? Yes, there is a thing such as, generally speaking, talent, and you can't go back to their draft necessarily to break it down, but you guys get what I'm saying. I wouldn't call Brock Purdy Bo Nix, but at the same time, I don't know. They're not super far off, I guess. He's right. Meanwhile, the 49ers are desperate to win a Super Bowl with the current core of aging veterans. Kind of making some sense here, right? The 49ers are in a situation where they are aging very, very fast, and they're at a point where their window is almost closed, I would say. And so doing this would be a last-ditch kind of cross your fingers kind of effort to just kind of see what you can do with a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. And then you would get rid of Purdy in the situation. You avoid paying Purdy $50 million that he may be asking for very soon. And so, that's kind of a situation I can see the Niners maybe being intrigued by, right? And Stafford is a significantly better quarterback than Purdy. I agree. So, of course, Stafford's also 12 years older than Purdy, so trading for Stafford would be an all-in move. But why not go all in? Why not give this aging core the best chance to finally win a Super Bowl? I kind of agree, right? The 49ers are in a situation where, yeah, man, they've been a really good team for many years, and I think it's tough for Rams fans to admit that, but they have been a pretty good, talented roster the last few years, to a point where it's like, how have you not won a Super Bowl, right? I think it really is the quarterback that has been kind of holding them back, generally speaking. Yes, Purdy's been amazing for what they've asked, and I think that roster has kind of backed Purdy and been excited to kind of support him. But at the same time, you're talking about a team that's had incredible defense. I mean, we're talking about some of the best linebackers in the league, some of the best D linemen in the league, some of the best corners or safety rooms in general, right? Overall, some of the best coaches and coaching game plans in the league. And essentially, the really only hole on their roster has consistently been the quarterback, right? You go from Jimmy G to, okay, Jimmy G's not there. He gets hurt. I forgot who their other backup was, Trey Lance, right? That failed draft pick of theirs. And then you go with, Trey Lance gets hurt. Now we have Brock Purdy, and he seems to have fit the system and been successful in the system. But is he necessarily the quarterback that can kind of put you on his shoulders and win consistently? I don't know. I don't know if that's really the case. So the Niners, from their perspective, I can see why they would be intrigued by a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. On the other hand, I'm just not sure the Rams would be very interested in paying a quarterback to like Brock Purdy the amount of money that he would be getting very, very soon, right? The amount of money he'd be asking for very, very soon. I think that's kind of the issue I would see. Yes, the Rams are wanting to look for a young quarterback. They don't want to pay a young quarterback $50 million. The whole point of getting a young quarterback right now would be you have a nice rookie quarterback or a young quarterback on a multi-year contract where you can kind of build a roster around him and see if you can kind of compete while he grows in the system, and you work with Sean McVay on kind of getting the roster together, what he wants ideally for his roster, so his team overall. So I'm curious about how you guys feel about this trade. What do you guys think about it? Obviously, you're on one side or the other. There'll probably be more compensation than just quarterback for quarterback straight up. What do you guys think you would ask for if you were even going to consider this as from the Rams perspective? And how do you feel about this overall in general? I'm very curious to see what you guys are going to say in the comments below about trading for Brock Purdy. But speaking on Matthew Stafford still, right, there is another team that is still interested in him, the Steelers. Steelers-Rams trade is kind of one of the more popular talks, but this one's kind of intriguing. This is both guys, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, going to Pittsburgh in this situation. If Steelers wanted to make a deal with the Rams, they should push to include more than just Matthew Stafford. That is coming from Rucker Herringy. And so let's see what we're talking about here in this conversation. Very, very interesting. I know Rams fans may not be excited about trading both Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, but here is the trade scenario that we're talking about here. Pittsburgh Steelers, Los Angeles Rams, they talk. They agree to terms, and it's Matthew Stafford for a first-round pick from the Steelers and Cooper Kupp for a fifth-round pick from the Steelers. Now, I get it. I think personally when I first looked at this, I said, yikes, I don't know if that's enough compensation. But at the same time, if we're just trading Matthew Stafford to a team, you're probably only getting a first-round pick. If you're going to get a second-round pick, cool, you'll get a second and a fifth, or a second and a sixth. But I don't think you're going to get much more than that. Cooper Kupp, if you're trading him, at this point, we've talked about this, you may only be getting a fourth-round pick, a fifth-round pick, a sixth-round pick for Cooper Kupp. It's just the reality of his situation right now, unfortunately. So I would think the Rams would push for a little bit more, trading two guys like this away. It's not just trading the names. It's not just trading the talent, right? Yes, Cooper Kupp is aging and Matthew Stafford's aging. You're trading two Rams legends that the fans love. I don't know if that would really be an ideal situation for Les Snead and everybody else in that front office. And I kind of talk about this in this article, right? One potential obstacle is to this trade is that the Rams might not like the optics, the way it looks, right, of sending two such popular players out of town in the same deal. Fans might not be able to digest they might be able to digest separate trades, right, for Stafford and Kupp, but losing both in one transaction to Pittsburgh and watching them succeed in another team with another good coach in the league, it would be painful, I think, for a lot of Rams fans, and I agree with that statement here. Losing both stars in one transaction might cause serious unrest with the team's fan base, and that's not necessarily something you want to do. We've seen it happen with Dallas, right? Dallas Mavericks. Not something you really want to see happening to your team and your organization from the GM perspective, right? The Steelers would still push to make the deal because it would solve their two biggest offensive issues. Neither Stafford or Kupp can be a long-term solution for the team's problems, but both can make Tomlin's team more dangerous in 2025. That's enough to make the deal worthwhile for Pittsburgh. And that is kind of true, right? We're talking about Mike Tomlin, who's been doing a lot with a little. Very similar coach in the sense of great leader, seems to get the men ready to go no matter what the situation is, no matter who they're playing. It seems, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter who the players are on the field, it seems like Mike Tomlin just consistently gets his team ready and prepared to win and to battle in the NFL. And they have a pretty good defense these last few years. It's kind of aging now at this point, maybe going on a little bit of a decline. But overall, generally speaking, they have a pretty strong defense. And so you add Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, that'd be a pretty crazy upgrade in just one offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could see why Pittsburgh would be interested. I could see why the Rams would be interested, right? You get your draft picks that you need from a team that hasn't really been that great, and you get some okay picks in return. I just don't know if it's enough to trade Stafford and Kupp for those things. I think, if you're less Snead, you probably ask for maybe one more, a seventh, and maybe if you can give me like a fourth instead of a fifth, and you can give me like a seventh on top of it, I'd maybe feel a little bit better. I know it's asking a lot, but you're talking about a first, fourth, and a seventh for two great offensive pieces for the Steelers, I think, in their situation right now. I would be interested in something more closer to that, but I don't know how the fan base is feeling about trading two legends in one transaction like it was stated. So could be very, very tough. Interesting. Don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not trying to throw it out there. I'm not hoping that happens. I'm just kind of throwing things out there. We're just exploring trade options. I know we've been talking about this for days at this point, weeks. But this is kind of the topic of conversation, and it's very intriguing to look at all these kind of rumors and see what actually could possibly happen in terms of both of these guys being traded. I think it's very, very intriguing. You guys let me know if you agree or not. Last but not least, we'll get through this quick because I know we've been here for a while. Trivia of the day. Let's talk about it. For those who played along yesterday in yesterday's video, we appreciate you guys playing. For those who missed it, here was the question in yesterday's video. A simple true or false question in each of Barry Sanders' 10 NFL seasons. This is true or false statement. I put Barry Sanders twice, but in each of his first 10 NFL seasons, running back Barry Sanders rushed for at least 1,000 rushing yards in each of his first 10 seasons. Is that true, or was it false? Is it fact, or is it fiction? That was the question that we posed here on the channel, and the answer was given to us by only one person played this time around, which we appreciate. Final Flash for playing. He's played the last couple trivia games, so we appreciate you. Yes, Sanders did, and 10 straight Pro Bowls as well. The GOAT running back, in my opinion. Kind of agree if you ask me. Shout out to Flash for playing along with this trivia game. If you guys want to get your shout out on the channel, just go ahead and comment. Just comment the next trivia question. Try to play along. Try to have fun with it. Get it wrong, you get it wrong. If you get it right, cool, but don't Google it. I'm going to give you a chance for some multiple choice options as well. And this next question is actually a pretty easy kind of chill one. So try to take a guess. See if you guys can make the guess happen without multiple choice. I'll give you multiple choice if you want to use that. And then next episode, we'll see if you guys got it right or wrong. Here we go. Trivia of the day for today. Trivia of day number 11. As a player, former NFL coach Jack Del Rio made the Pro Bowl at what position? I'll give you guys a second to chew on that. Oh, thought I put it up, but I guess not. As a player, former NFL coach Jack Del Rio made the Pro Bowl at what position? Excuse my dog for a coughing. Let me know what you guys think. Give you a couple seconds here. Type in your guesses, and I'll give you guys some multiple choice options. Here we go. As a player, former NFL coach Jack Del Rio made the Pro Bowl at what position? Was it A, defensive back? Was it B, linebacker? Was it C, defensive tackle? Or was it D, defensive end? You guys let me know what your guesses are down below. Make your guesses for Trivia of the Day number 11. That's going to do it for me on today's episode. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't subscribed already. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.